Dear members of the Mona community, welcome to our virtual town hall meeting, the first for this semester. And we have called this meeting specifically as a result of the Hurricane Melissa that visited Jamaica and left in its trail significant damages, both physical and perhaps emotional, to not only Jamaica as a whole, but more specifically to our staff and students. And even those who are not directly affected would have been affected in some indirect way. We all have relatives and friends in those areas that are impacted. And as Jamaican citizens, we feel the pain that our colleagues and friends are experiencing in the West. Since the passage of the hurricane, the UWI Mona management has been in full gear in terms of trying to restore our campus as well as responding to the needs of those affected. We have sent out numerous communications to our community through the Mona messaging services. The principal has done a couple of videos communicating with our community in terms of what we're doing to assist, in terms of how we're proceeding to open the campus. And we have created a special dedicated website that in one place displays all that we are doing in terms of our response, and the principal will speak more about that. But apart from all of that communication, the principal and the executive management team felt that it was also important to speak with our community directly, to express our commiseration with those who have been affected, and more importantly, to reassure our community that we're standing with you. This is the purpose of our town hall this afternoon. We thank all of you who have logged on, and I want to particularly welcome those who will be presenting this afternoon. We have our campus principal, Professor Denzel A. Williams, who will present in terms of the overall four-pillar response. We have our deputy principal, Dr. Tomlin Paul, who will present on the Mona Care aspect of our response that will show how the campus will support the national effort of recovery, as well as what we are doing to support our own staff and students. Then we'll have a presentation by myself speaking specifically to our response in terms of staff recovery. There will be a presentation from the Deputy Campus Registrar speaking to support to our students, the concessions that we're going to make to support them to continue their education. And we're going to hear from Mr. Milton Dennis, our estate manager, who will speak to the infrastructural damages and how we can support that effort to restore our infrastructure. We're going to also have a demonstration of the website and that will be part of the principal's presentation. So for all of these presentations, we're going to have co-presenters in addition to those people who have identified. And we have been careful to ensure that we present the balance in terms of the, who are the presenters in terms of gender and so on. And we're going to ask Dr. Heather Ricketts, the Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences, to moderate this session for us. So thank you all very much. And without any further comments, I will now turn over to Dean Heather Ricketts. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Campus Registrar. Good afternoon to all colleagues and to students who are joining us. I trust that everybody is well and that I know that the hurricane has affected all of us in some way, shape, or form. And I think this afternoon's town hall meeting will try to assess some of that and also to indicate how we are going to respond as a university. I want to at this time, therefore, invite our principal who will lead and is the lead of this post-Hurricane Melissa recovery model for the campus. And so at this time, principal, I will invite you to make your presentation. Thank you.
Hey, very good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for joining this very important and timely town hall meeting. Let me specifically say that this meeting that we are a part of is indeed one of those, I would say, part of the discussion, the conversation that we're having in relation to Hurricane Melissa and the recovery that we are participating as a campus. Today, I rest assured that of the 20,000 strong member of our Mona community, all of us would have been impacted in some way, shape, and form, whether directly or indirectly, by the hurricane. And so I would like to use this opportunity again show solidarity with all members of the community and say really how grateful we are that we would have survived this hurricane, and we are now in recovery mode, and we are as all we can to ensure that we recover stronger and better. This meeting is not only an update on where we are as a campus in the recovery process, but it is also to do a check on our community members, our students, our faculty, our staff, and all other members, their families, on how we are faring with this hurricane. But before I get into the details of what the campus is doing, I would like to firstly express a really big thank you to all of the team members who have worked extremely hard, were extremely diligent in firstly preparing us for the hurricane, and then secondly, post the hurricane, they would have done an exceptional job to get us where we are today. And I want to especially thank the members of the team. I want to especially thank the emergency manager, Mr. Major Clive Davis, for his technical input, his technical analysis of things, and continue to provide the executive management team with his technical expertise on how things are, where things are, and fed into the decision-making process as to how we recover as well. I want to thank also our deans who have been in close contact with the members from their departments and members from their faculty and continue to provide great assurance. I want to also thank the EMD. They have been super a hero in this recovery. They ensured that the campus was prepared adequately, and they also ensured that once the hurricane was gone, the campus would have been prepared for reopening. And for that, we really want to thank the members of the EMD, especially for the work that they have done, and all other members, administrators, and all other members in the community. We want to thank you because you have really made sure that the Mona campus could be on solid footing in preparation and post the hurricane as well. Today, we also want to stand in solidarity with our students. We know that especially the 1,905 students from the county of Cornwall who would possibly have been directly impacted by this hurricane. We really want to thank you for your understanding and your patience as we recover, but we also want to stand with you as a campus community that we are there to support you in the recovery process, but we are also there to support your academic needs, and we are ready for you when you are ready for us as a campus, and we will outline very shortly how we work together as a partner. We also want to really thank our guild president, Mr. Roshan Winter, who has been on the front line in his own way in supporting the recovery process through his own initiatives as well, and also initiatives for the students of our campus. We really want to thank him for that kind of leadership that he is exercising during this very difficult time for our community and also for our country, Jamaica. Colleagues and friends, as you heard from the registrar, the Mona campus would have been mostly spared in terms of the physical infrastructure from the hurricane, but we would have suffered significant loss and damage in our Discovery Bay Marine Lab and also our Western Jamaica campus. But in the main, we would have seen that the Mona campus was up and ready for operation in the shortest possible time. We would have satisfied all the reopening criteria. We would have had the physical plant being prepared. We would have had the human resources being prepared. We would have been there to provide all the necessary psychosocial support, and all those criteria were actually positive for the Mona campus. And as a result of that, we were able to operate in the shortest possible time post the hurricane. But we also are understanding that there are members of the community who may not have been psychologically, mentally, and also in terms of physical resources, being able to rejoin the community. And what we're doing is to put things in place to support those members once they are ready to rejoin us as a campus. You would have recognized that so far, the campus has really rebuilt its recovery effort on 4 non-mutually exclusive pillars. We having taken the information from all the relevant technical sources and all the relevant expert knowledge that we would have gotten during the hurricane period. We would have identified a four-pronged approach towards our recovery. I'm not sure if I can share my slides, but let me try if I'm able to do so, to share my slides. Just a few slides I want to share with you. When we look at the slides here, you would see the Mona campus recovery is built on 4 non-mutually exclusive pillars. We would have taken the advice from our technical people and all the relevant persons who are expert in this area, and we would have put these together, and we would have built a recovery platform that is going to be very helpful for us to align our recovery needs with both the national needs and also the domestic needs for our campus as well. It's built on 4 pillars, and what we have done is to ask each member of the executive team, along with other members in the community, to actually lead on each pillar as we actually recover from this disaster. So we have the Mona Cares, which is really our general relief and voluntary support for Jamaica, which is led by our deputy principal and also Ms. Shireen Richards from SSDM from George Allen Hall. We also have the staff recovery pillar, which is really looking at how we support our staff. And again, you would have seen the communique from the registrar in terms of the things we're doing there to support our staff. That pillar is being led by Dr. Stan Berry and Miss Indira Ajuda from of the Western Campus as well. We also have the Student Solidarity Pillar, which is led by our Dean, Dean Ricketts from Social Sciences, and our Deputy Campus Registrar. And again, this pillar really looks at all of the things that we're doing to support our students, both the psychological aspect, financial aspect, the issues of teaching and learning. And you will hear a lot more about all these things that we're doing as we think through these things as well. And similarly, we have our infrastructure restoration, which is led by Mr. Milton Dennis and Mrs. Jean Leslie, who will talk about all the things that we are doing in terms of restoring the infrastructure, not to where it was before, but to restore it better and more resilient as we expect this kind of activity to continue for a long time to come. So these are the four pillars on which we would have built our recovery. We would have listened to the experts in each of these areas. Our chair of the emergency division, Major Davis, would be a key expert that is feeding us with the necessary technical knowledge so that we can actually plan a management response to these areas as well as we build our recovery. I want to thank all of the leaders for these pillars, for the work that they have done so far. I want to thank you for the steadfastness in making sure that we actually recover not only faster, but stronger and better as we look forward to continuing the operation of our campus. Similarly, as you know, we are also ensuring that we support the recovery in Jamaica, both at the technical level and also at the operational level as well. And so at the technical level, we will be announcing very shortly a higher education recovery task force that will be led by Professor Donovan Campbell, who will be giving us much more details later on in the recovery process about this task. It is a higher ed task force that combines the skill sets from the University of the West Indies, the University of Technology, the Caribbean Maritime University, and the Northern Caribbean University. We have technical experts in these areas, in all areas of recovery, from issues to do with the physical plant, issues to do with climate modeling, issues to do with psychosocial behavior, issues to do with economic impact, issues to do with gender related aspects of the recovery. All areas of the recovery will be represented on the task force. It will also have members from the private sector and also from the policy making circles. And this task force, as I said, will be part of the technical response that the University of the West Indies and other higher educational institutions will be doing to make its contribution to the recovery process. So in all, colleagues and friends, I think our campus is making a positive response to the recovery. I think we try to cover all of the areas that are impacted by the recovery. We also look out for our faculty, our students, and also our staff, and everyone who is a part of this process. Our community has to ensure that we recover not only stronger but better. We will also have to do things differently in terms of how we actually prepare for these kinds of disasters, but also we have to also look at how we build our infrastructure in order to be much more resilient as it relates to these kinds of events, because we are seeing that these things are becoming commonplace now. And so we are not just going to recover and to be where we were before, but we're recovering and doing things differently. I want to also use this opportunity to thank our Vice Chancellor, Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, for his extremely strong support for the Mona campus as we build out our recovery. The entire university senior management team have thrown their full support behind the Mona campus as well. Each campus is doing what they can to support, and I want to as well acknowledge the work of our campus principals across the system from Trinidad, Barbados, Antigua, and our global campus as well. We want to also say a big thank you to our trade unions who have reached out to us from the other campuses to show their solidarity with the Mona campus as well. They have sent messages of concern and messages of motivation as we recover from this disaster. We really want to thank our unions in St. Augustine and also Cave Hill for their strong show of support for our Mona campus. So colleagues, all in all, we are where we are in terms of the recovery. We have a very strong team of individuals leading the recovery. We have a very strong team of technical persons who are supporting the recovery. And so at this time, I really want to again express our solidarity as a campus with all the members of the community who have been touched by this hurricane, whether directly or indirectly. And we want to also reach out to your families and everyone who really have been feeling the impact of this hurricane, and want to say we as a university community, we are standing with you. We wish you well, and we will be there. This is going to recovery is not a short-term thing, so we don't want to just see it as a 1-2 months thing. It's going to be a long haul to recovery, and the University of the West Indies is willing and will be there with you as we go through the recovery process. We have our care program, which is expected to last not just for 2 weeks or so, but is going to be looking at how we go into the medium term of the recovery. We also have our volunteer network, which we are asking again persons to sign up to, which the deputy principal and Shireen Richards will talk about, but we're encouraging persons to sign up to the volunteers network so that you can lend your support to the effort of the recovery, especially to those in Western Jamaica campus as well. So, colleagues, thank you all. We look forward to the presentation from all of our other colleagues and hear what they have to say about the kinds of support that we are providing for members of our community and the wider Jamaican family. Rest assured that your university is very supportive and is very strong, and we'll be there with you. We will continue to update the community on all the happenings as it relates to our hurricane recovery effort. So thank you again, colleagues. And at this time, I will ask Mr. Sanjay Malcolm, who is a big part of our communication efforts, to just highlight for you where we are in terms of the recovery, putting everything in one place, and therefore you can access everything on our website. And then we will ask the moderator to continue with the program. So again, colleagues, thank you very much. And I turn over to Sanjay, if he is online, to help to show the members where we are in terms of consolidating all that we're talking about in terms of the recovery.
Thank you, Principal. Greetings, everyone joining us online. My role today is to show us how we will be able to access the pillars that our principal was speaking about just now. And I am going to share my screen and walk us through the process. All right, so the principal just spoke about 4 pillars of recovery, and what we've done is we've digitized this entire experience and placed it on a hub where anybody that wants to participate or to get information about the recovery efforts can access. So first you will go to your browser on your mobile phones or on your desktop, and you would, as soon as you start typing Mona, you're going to see the University of the West Indies pop up. And then on the main page is where that spotlight image is here. This is the link to our recovery hub. So we will go there. Right. Now, as you will see, it is the 4 pillars the principal just mentioned is visually represented here. And we will start by looking at an overview. So we have Mona Cares, Student Solidarity, Staff Recovery, and Rebuilding Infrastructure. Now, if you scroll down on the page, you'll also see a message from our principal speaking, generally summarizing the efforts from the University of the West Indies in the recovery process, as well as you can stay updated on bulletins that come from the campus just below that. All right, so let's go to our digital directory here. So, all right, so for persons who are interested in MonaCare, this is persons who would be seeking to volunteer or to access support from the UMona campus. You simply just click on Learn More on MonaCares, and it brings you to our subpage here, where you will have two main buttons, two main action buttons here, to volunteer and to request support. So just let's look at that for a minute. Here you'll be able to fill out the form. It's a very comprehensive form. Submit, and we will take it from there on our back end. All right, let's look at the request support form. Same here, persons who have been affected, yourselves, whether yourselves or your families, you can fill out this form, and the UMona will be able to catalog that information and get to act on it immediately. All right, so going back to our directional page, let's look at student solidarity. Right here, we will see, this is where you're able to access the headline items from this program, which is to apply for a 50% waiver on semester 1 outstanding tuition. That process is now active, so students can now go and apply. And the Ready When You Are initiative, which is where you are able to restart when your conditions are favorable, this will be open soon. All right, and we'll go back again. Staff recovery, this is for all our faculties and staff. You go here to learn more. Have a bit of a delay. Right, so, and of course, the applications are open now, so members of staff can fill out the requisite information, and you'll be able to access the support that is there. All right, and then lastly, rebuilding infrastructure. So it's lagging. Right, so this is where you're able to see where we've done a comprehensive outline of the damage that has affected the university campuses, and we also have some detailed information that persons may want. You could check out an estimate of the damage and also check out the donation list. And if persons who are now inclined to donate, we have a donate button, and this button brings you to our banking information, where you can do bank transfers, as well as if for persons who want to do donations online, we've partnered with the UEDF, and we're using their platform. If you click donate now, it brings you over to the UEDF page, and you are able to fill in the information required. Right, there you go. Right, and then you fill out the information, and you can get the donations over to the UMona campus for the well-needed recovery. All right, so now for persons on mobile, the layout will be similar, except that it's stacked. I'm not able to show you because of the device I'm using, but it still outlines the 4 pillars. And of course, you can access any of the items via the Learn More buttons, and the Donate Now button brings you to the place I just showed you, where you're able to make donations to UMona campus. So that is it. That is our 4-pillar recovery hub, and you can access it now. It's live, and you can go ahead and start to integrate yourselves in the process of recovery. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Principal. Principal, did you wish to add? Not sure. But thank you very much, Principal, and thank you very much, Mr. Malcolm. So we have heard the 4 pillars. They've been highlighted. We know how to get onto the website. And now we will hear a little bit more in detail about the various pillars. So I will invite at this time our Deputy Principal, Dr. Paul, who will share with Ms. Richards, who is the SSDM of the George Lane Hall, and they will talk to us about the Mona Cares program. Very commendable. So I'm inviting Deputy Principal and Ms. Richards now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dean. Let me say good afternoon to all members of our campus community, our faculty, our staff, our students. Bid you a good evening, a good afternoon. And I'm very happy to be presenting here with my colleague, Ms. Shireen Richards on the Mona Cares initiative. I'll say a little bit on the broad sort of perspective, and then I'll ask Ms. Richards to give a bit on the experience that we have had. And let me say first that I'm very pleased with how much work has been done in just a very short period that we have had so far since Melissa struck in relation to the Mona Cares, the outreach. Really, what we are seeing is, under Mona Cares, is a response to the community, the needs of the community, the needs of family, the needs of individuals. And I think it's sort of important to note that while the campus does its own work in terms of caring and responding and dealing with our staff, dealing with our students, dealing with the challenges that we face day to day just in getting our academic program up and running and all of the work that has been happening, that the Mona Cares initiative, as I call it a humanitarian arm, provides an opportunity for us to respond and to be engaged in a broader response as a university community. It is built around the Pelican Nest initiative, and an excellent initiative coming out of the Office of Student Services and Development under the direction of Mr. Jason McKenzie, or Director McKenzie, who's leading OSSD, and Ms. Richards, who's here with us, who is also driving this Pelican Nest initiative. And part of the framing, you can think of it as rebuilding the nest. The pelican bird is a very, we cherish the pelican. We talk about new pelicans, young pelicans, and so. And the nest, when it gets disrupted, colleagues, we feel that we are in a position to rebuild. And that nest is wide and broad. It's across not only Jamaica, but the region. And so we are engaged in this initiative, in this humanitarian response to Melissa, in rebuilding that nest. And it is through a process of volunteerism. I'm so excited that so far we have had over 1,000, I think almost 1,500, Ms. Richards can tell you, volunteers from students and staff across the campus community contributing to this initiative. We have had outreach and we have had in-reach. So we are responding. We have a link that picks up our students and staff who are in distress, who are reaching out. We're getting better at doing that, as we go forward in a more strategic, in a more structured way. But even tomorrow, I know we are going out to Western Jamaica to reach some students who made a knock on our door, who said, hey, I'm out here. I need some help. Can you reach out to us? And I know Ms. Richards and the team are getting out there with the support of JUTC, with the support of partners to do that. The last thing I'll say is that really partnership is key. So we are not adding to the traffic on the road in a sense, both figuratively and literally, because what? We are partnering with the established agencies that are engaged in the response and the relief efforts. JUTC, St. John's Ambulance, ODPEM, and so on. We are there with them, providing support, providing volunteers in this area. And we are thankful for donations. I want to say as I close that we can't do this without resources. We have good human resources, goodwill, good hearts, good intentions, but we're going to need some real donations in terms of things that will support the efforts in terms of the food, the gloves, the technology and all of that. And so we are reaching out. And if you check the website, you'll see, you just saw there's an arm for you to click and donate and make a contribution, in as much as there's an arm for you to click and say, I want some help. So we are there for you. I'm very, very excited about this initiative. I think it's a chance for our university to continue to serve in a difficult time. We are helping ourselves. We are looking for the internal recovery, but we are still committed to have a response to a community as our university has had from 1948 onwards. So let me end here, and I'm happy to invite my colleague, Ms. Shireen Richards, to share a few words on what we've been doing so far and the work that she's been leading on the ground with this initiative. Ms. Richards.
Thank you, Deputy Principal. All protocols observed. A very good evening to everyone online that is listening. The Pelican Nest. It is such a pleasure to be here with everyone as we continue to strengthen the heartbeat of volunteerism and service and community care through the Nest. DP would have spoken about the Nest and how it operates. And yes, we are here to rebuild the Mona campus through the Nest. It was a vision born to empower and to give back, not just to our campus, but to the communities across Jamaica. 2 Tuesdays ago, our small nation was rocked by Hurricane Melissa. And the official arm of the Office of Student Services and Development, the Nest, went into action mode. And in the wake of Melissa, we really saw the true spirit of the UWI students come alive. Students, staff, and partners, when we put out the link, everybody just flooded it, and they came to say who needed help, and they also asked, how can we help? As such, we have over 1,560 students and staff members. And today, I just want to take a moment to recognize the incredible partners and supporters that have joined the mission. First, we must mention our partnership with the Guild of Students, led by Mr. Rashawn Winter and his team through the External Affairs Committee. Their commitment to student advocacy and service continues to light the way here on the Mona campus. To my other student services managers who have been relentless on their halls of residence, gathering the necessary information for their students who have returned, who have been impacted by Melissa, and those who have not returned to hall, we are still in search of those students. So if anybody has any information for them, a flyer with a number will come up shortly, which will share a hotline number where you can send the information. To our ambassadors of the Nest, Christina Williams, past Guild President, and Nicholas McDavid, we thank you for being the faces and voices out there of this movement as we spread the message of compassion and purpose. We're deeply grateful to our emergency and humanitarian partners through St. John's Ambulance and Jamaica Red Cross. As we go out in the field, we provide volunteers with them so they can go and stand ensuring that relief just doesn't reach hands, but also reach the hearts. To our corporate and campus partners, we have Ribbies. This weekend, we're going to, well, tomorrow actually, we're going to Montego Bay to do a soup kitchen in partnership with Western Jamaican Campus and Ribbies, who will be doing a soup kitchen. We'll also be extending relief to persons in Katadupa who cannot come out to school and have not been back to school as yet. Campus Elite has been a partner, and Wisinko Group in giving donations. Your generous effort fuels our cause, and we therefore turn our ideas into meaningful impact. We also say thanks to the Ministry of Labor and National Security for their guidance and national partnership. Through them, I dare say, we'll be able to go toll-less. Yes. Going through the tolls with the JUTC as we transport our students for this relief work. The Mona Police for ensuring our safety on these operations as we move our students across the country. And finally, a heartfelt thank you always to those whose contribution brought dignity, comfort, and care to those men and women affected by the disaster. Together, these partnerships remind us that the Nest is not just a project, it's a promise. And we invite more partners to come on board. A promise to rebuild, a promise to empower, and a promise to show up for each other and for Jamaica. My mind goes back to the fact that it's basically 20% of Jamaica that has been impacted, and it's therefore important for the 80% to take care of the 20% that has been impacted. So the Nest has visited places, and we will continue to go to these places. It is not a sprint. It's for the long haul. And we will visit St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, St. James, Mandeville, Clarendon, Hanover, and continue to try to find our students and staff and support them. There are a couple of fundraising activities that we'll be doing as well to support the students. Mr. Winter speaks of students who may not be able to pay tuition, DP, and not be able to pay hall fees. So we'll be doing a number of fundraisers to help this cause, and we'll hear about those in later days. So I thank you. We welcome the support. We welcome the donations in cash and kind on the system, as well as drop-off points at the UEMD department, as well as at the Mona Students Union. I thank you.
Thank you. Let me thank Deputy Principal and Ms. Richards. And I want to say, if ever there was a time for us to see on display the attributes of the ideal UE graduate. It's now. We are seeing them being very culturally and socially responsible. And also, you know, displaying these strong ethical values and also being innovative, and I want to say also entrepreneurial. So kudos to our UE students and to all who mold our students. Thank you. So I want to move on then to invite our campus registrar, Dr. Stanbury, and Miss Indira Ajuda, the administrative officer at the Western Jamaica campus, who will tell us a bit about the staff recovery program. That's another element of the four-pillar program.
Thank you very much, moderator. My co-presenter, as was said, is the administrative officer at our UE Western Jamaica campus. The response in terms of staff recovery has basically three pillars. One speaks to a dedicated fund that the university is putting up to support our staff who have been affected. And we will speak about that in a second. The second pillar has to do with the mobilization of support in terms of supplies and food and so on that we will be offering our staff who are affected and who make requests under the UE Care program. And the third pillar, of course, let us call it a sub-pillar then, is the psychosocial support that we continue to provide our staff and faculty, particularly at this difficult time. I will speak to the staff recovery sub-pillar, and my colleague Indira will speak to the other elements. So, ladies and gentlemen and colleagues, we have established a $15 million fund from our resources to support our staff under what we call the staff recovery, the staff relief grant, who would have suffered severe damages from the hurricane. And those damages could range from roof which have been dislocated to houses which have been totally smashed, to those who would have lost livelihoods and are no longer able to earn a living, etc., etc. As demonstrated by before in the principal's presentation, you can apply from the dedicated website, and when you click that particular staff recovery button, it will lead you right into PeopleSoft, and you can there apply. The form is there online, and it's a very simple application, so you need not be frightened. I know some people don't like to fill out form, but it's quite simple. And of course, you will be asked to attach to the application pictures of if your house is destroyed, etc., roof, as well as a sort of a recommendation from a justice of the peace or a local pastor attesting to the fact that you have been so affected. On the screen, you will see the eligibility for members of staff. I know that when we have these town halls, there are times when members of the global campus situated at Mona and our colleagues from regional headquarters will also log on and tune in. But this support is principally, is really for staff at UE Mona, principally those in the Western region, and we will also recognize that there might be other staff in other parishes outside the Western region that might be affected in this kind of way. We have set up under the chairmanship of our new Director of Employee Success, HR, Mr. Colin Ebanks, we have set up a committee, a broad-based committee, who will receive those applications, adjudicate, and make recommendation for the bursary to make the disbursal. We promise you, ladies and gentlemen, that this process is going to be fast and efficient because we do not want to add the trauma of bureaucratic delay to what you are now experiencing as a result of the impact of the hurricane. So I will now turn over to my colleague, Ajuda, to speak specifically to the other aspects of our staff recovery program. Ajuda?
Thank you, Campus Registrar, and good afternoon, everyone. Right, at the Western Jamaica campus, I wanted to just give a little overview of what is happening here, and I don't know why my slides, okay, there we go. So the current situation of our campus, we have, as you would have heard, infrastructural damages. The main one being our south building. So in my presentation, I'll present our current situation as well as tell you what has happened so far, the response of the Mona campus and senior management, and the plans going forward, especially relating to staff solidarity. So we have infrastructural damages, and you will hear a little bit more about this from Milton's and Jean's presentation. The south building is, well, the roof is completely gone and it's structurally compromised, and we will definitely have to replace that. The central building, which is our main administrative building, which houses our academic offices, has moderate roof damages. And our east building, thankfully, which houses our server room as well as our classroom, there is no visible damage. The hall of residence has lost a number of shingles and it now has leaks or more advanced leaks. The pavilion has no visible damages. Our campus bus, unfortunately, has windows broken, assumed from wind and debris. We have unsecure electrical lines on the campus that has been down, thankfully disconnected from the main power source to reduce threat and injury as soon as we have power restoration. We currently have no power on the campus. Our main generator went down, and a small generator is supplying the limited power to the hall of residence. We have no internet connections on campus, mobile service on campus, as well as in our community, in the entire West, is unstable. We're not able to download our stream data or even download that application form registrar. Thankfully, the deadline has been extended or is extended to the 31st. So I don't expect to have many of our Western Jamaica campus staff online this afternoon, maybe just a handful, if so much. We had lost water, but thankfully our backup system sustained until we were replenished by NWC, but we now have water on campus. These are some images from the campus. Current situation for staff, 98% of our staff remain without power and internet. However, for a number of persons, water has been restored, thankfully. I mentioned already about the data connectivity. We have staff members who we've categorized the damages to our staff in 3 areas. For example, there's loss to entire homes and dwellings, at least 4 persons, roof damages and other infrastructural issues ranging from moderate to severe damages, and loss of personal items and furnishing. We have at least 3 staff members who reside in the Catherine Hall, West Green areas, it is catastrophically impacted. They've lost cars. Well, 2 of them has lost cars. There's emotional strain, fear, anxiety, sleeplessness, overwhelm, and general trauma among the staff. The rains that fell the other night, there are so many staff who reached out, just being traumatized by the rain, still mending leaks from their roofs, those who have. Transportation challenges due to roadblocks, limited fuel access, and increased transportation costs. The first week of the hurricane, after the hurricane, was atrocious at the gas stations everywhere in the West and at food place. Cash is king. Even to this point, our ATMs are not off. Students, well, there are a few students residing on hall still, and three, and there are at least two who came onto the campus after the storm. Imagine this campus does not have light or water, and they still prefer to stay here. So we have supported them with food from our donations for everybody that's on campus. What have been staff recovery action so far? Immediately after the storm, we conducted physical check-ins with the staff in the surrounding areas, those who we could reach and who we know where they reside. Our senior management visited very soon after the storm, at least for 3 days on the Sunday, and they brought with them essential food items from Mona, Townhall's hygiene items. We then created care packages and distributed among staff and students. Staff members came on site to collect, and so did students, but we also went out to communities to deliver to persons who could not reach, who could not get to the campus, specifically in the Catherine Hall and West Green area. We have been doing preliminary staff assessment, and we're still receiving reports. We are maintaining communication with staff where possible, and staff also comes onto the campus to check in. We initiated first aid by our psychological first aid by our WJC counselor to students and staff who have been on campus over the last 2 weeks. We also initiated medical support for staff in need, including assisting with prescription refills through our medical officer. Of note, the WJC is a hub for which external partners are distributing aid. So they come here at the campus, we take the aid, assist them in going out with our van or with our JDF contacts for support. So we have that ongoing. So that serves both our campus as well as the community. Next step, we will continue to deliver care packages and supplies. We are going to be scaling up our psychological support through our WJC counselor, WJC Health Center, and our chaplaincy services. We will partner with external persons to do yoga, healing circles, individual and group sessions. We will continue our medical out support chronic illness, injury care, and medication needs. We will own our health services to staff and their dependents and students. But in this round, for a limited period, we will assist where possible families of our students. Medical care in the West from public institutions, it's almost non-existent. I spoke to a student and all she wanted from me was assistance with her family to see a basic doctor that we can do. We will prioritize staff with severe damage for relief assistance, of course, through the appropriate application channels. We will provide regular communication updates to the campus community as the systems come back online. We will continue to be a hub for students and staff to support them in communication services. So the campus, as soon as we're up, more staff and students will come in for services. It will be for power, it will be for communication, and it will be for general needs and access to different resources that will come in. So that's what we've done so far, and that's what's happening. Of course, all of this extends to the Discovery Bay Marine Lab as well, especially the extended services to staff support. We'll be in touch with them, and we will arrange as best as possible. Thank you.
And,
Thank you very much. The picture you paint, Indira, really shows the devastating effects of the hurricane on not just your Western Jamaica campus community, but the entire West. And it's really reassuring to hear how much the WJC has responded by being so compassionate, not just to its community, but it appears to be the community wider than the actual campus community. So you are serving almost as a hub for the community. Commendable. And I hope that we are writing up all of this. Deputy Principal, Registrar, Principal, I hope we can write up all of this. We need to document and maybe, if possible, get some publications, how universities respond in times of crisis, and provide a community good in times of crisis. I would really like to see us do more of this. So thank you, Registrar. Did you wish to add? Yes, Registrar.
Thank you so much, Indira. That's very comprehensive. And I just want to add, for our staff on the Mono campus who might be affected. I know India's presentation was really geared towards our colleagues on the Western side. Rest assured that our services are similarly available. We have already had 1 or 2 applications from staff this side, and we will look on them with the due diligence and that their case requires. Dr. Ricketts, moderator, just allow me to insert, since I won't speak again, to announce, because I have seen the questions coming up in the chat, which I'm also monitoring, that our graduation ceremonies will now be held on the 15th, 16th, and 17th of January 2026, in the same order as they were meant to be held if we had them during the week of the hurricane. That means the Thursday for medical sciences and the Friday and the Saturday for those ceremonies, as we indicate for the faculties. Thank you very much.
So thanks again, both Registrar and Indira. Thank you, and for all the work that's being done. I will hand over now and invite Mr. Archie, our Deputy Campus Registrar, to speak about the Student Solidarity Program. And then I will add to part of this by looking at the flexibility that we have woven in with respect to assessments and examinations. So over to you, Mr. Archie.
Thank you, Dean Ricketts, and good afternoon, staff, students, and other members of our UWI community. So Dr. Ricketts and I will be presenting on the Student Solidarity Program, and as Dean Ricketts indicated, this program has 2 elements, 2 primary elements. One, looking at the financial relief that we will provide to support our most affected students, and also the flexibility that we will apply as a campus in supporting our students in completing their program of study. So we are standing with our students during this time of crisis, and we recognize that our students would be experiencing, them and their families, would be experiencing unplanned financial hardship at this time, as they would have to direct funds to other needs at this point. And so we have designed the Student Solidarity Program to support students at this point in time. Now, the program is a financial relief initiative for students who were severely impacted by Hurricane Melissa. Now, it is the eligible students are primarily from the county of Cornwall, but we will extend to the students from other counties who can demonstrate that they were severely impacted. And the focus of the program is to grant, where applicable, for students who are eligible, a 50% waiver on the outstanding tuition balance for semester 1, 2026. And as you can see, we have allowed applications to continue from today until May 8, 2026. And we have done this because we recognize, as related to the questions in the chat, we recognize that there are students who are currently without electricity or without internet service, and so we have left applications for this program open for the next 8 months. Now, to be eligible for this program, you must be a Jamaican citizen. The student would have to be registered for semester 1 of the 25-26 academic year. They must be a student of one of the following sites: the Mona campus, the Western Jamaica campus, or the Mona weekend program. And this is specific because it is not applicable for students from our TLIs and affiliated institutions. And the student who is applying must be enrolled in an undergraduate program. Now, how do we define severe impact or adversely impacted? It must be the severe loss of property, including roof or structural damage to the primary residence that the student lives in. There could be loss of livelihood or death of the primary caregiver in the family, the primary provider, or loss of employment of the primary provider within the family. In making a submission, students will need to have their declaration or their application. There must be a declaration which confirms from either a justice of the peace, an attorney at law, a superintendent of police, or a minister of religion, they must declare that the loss suffered is as reflected in the student's application. Now, again, there is quite a bit of time. I have seen one student in the chat indicating that their JP isn't accessible at this point in time. Again, that is why we have opened the applications until May. So students can have any one of these officers listed declare that, yes, the loss suffered directly impacted the student, and so they are supporting their request for the financial relief under this program. In making the submission, and the form does ask for it, the name, the contact details, and address of the verifying officer should be provided. Now, what it is that we're asking for in the application. Students are expected to gather their documentation at the time convenient to them, displaying evidence of their loss. The submission must be certified by, as I said before, the Justice of the Peace, attorney at law, and then the student can make their submission online. And how do we make the submission? So on our dedicated webpage in relation to Hurricane Melissa, there, under the 4 pillars, students will see our Student Solidarity Program. At that point in time, at the bottom of that subpage, there is an icon that says, and you're seeing it on your screen to the left, that there is an application for a 50% waiver and you can apply now. Once you click apply now, the screen changes to the BOSS interface, which most students are aware of, and they will be asked to log in, enter their domain password, and it takes you directly to the form. It is important to note that we went this route because in logging in using your UWI credentials, most of the information required for the form is already completed for you. Students can then indicate the information that they want to explain what has happened to them. They can upload the evidence of their loss and the declaration from the verifying officer and then submit. Once they submit, there is nothing else left to do. It comes directly to us. We will assess the application and then provide the student with a response as it relates to their application. All applications will be reviewed carefully by the UWI MONA, and it is important to note that in determining the final outstanding balance, we will pay attention to student loans and grants being considered at this point in time to determine how much the student is eligible to receive as the waiver. Only complete and verified submissions will be assessed. I just want to point out as I close this segment of this particular presentation that the UWI MONA is committed to supporting our students and to ensure that we do everything possible to minimize the disruption. There isn't a standard approach in addressing all the variations to the situations that our students face, and so what we are doing is listening to our students, and with that we try to see how best we can support while we reaffirm our mission of being a light rising from the west. I will now hand over to Dean Ricketts, who will continue this part of the presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Archie. And we want to stress that there isn't a standardized approach, and we want to make sure that every student is heard and every student feels that they have been, treated fairly. So this part of the presentation is really to look at assessments and examinations for semester 1 of the current academic year. And we are stressing the word flexibility and agility. So there will be, through your lecturers, students, this is particularly for you, lecturers are permitted to engage in alternative assessments and also to extend deadlines. So you might find that some of your course assessments are being modified. In some cases, the course assessments will have increased, some components will see an increased value. So, for example, some courses may move to 100% coursework as the exam, and those would have had to go through Deputy Principal, ACWAC, and receive the requisite support and approval from the Board for Undergraduate Studies, BOSS, and the Board for Graduate Studies and Research, BGSR. You may also find that some of your coursework components have been reduced or some assessment components eliminated, and definitely there will be space for extensions for your coursework submissions. I move now to, for those of you students who have been severely impacted by the hurricane and you are unable to sit your final exam, there are 4 options that we are making available for you without penalty. Late leave of absence. At this point, it's no longer leave of absence, but it will have to be late leave of absence. If you are applying on the grounds of, on medical grounds, then a medical certificate will be required. And I just want to stress that medical grounds can include the death or severe injury of, perhaps your primary provider or caregiver, something that will perhaps have an impact on you, resulting in some kind of psychological effect as well. For newly admitted, newly readmitted, and for transfer students, you are not eligible to have or to apply or to receive late leave of absence. And perhaps I will explain that as I go on, or it will be explained. The other option is the deferral of the sitting of exams with the following options. You can resit the entire course when it is next available, or apply to sit exams only. And you all know about the MEX, and for the exams only, you can bring forward your coursework. So it will go over to the next time that the course is offered and you are taking the course. The other option is late adjustment to registration. That's what we talk about when we say drop and late withdrawal. However, it is not eligible for exams only or the carryover of your coursework. And the last is late voluntary withdrawal. For those who select this particular option, you will have to apply to be readmitted when you are ready to resume your studies. And I want to stress that all of these applications may be made via the ASRS, which is the Automated Student Request System in SAS. I want to just, since I sit in the Faculty of Social Sciences, I just want to add that the faculty, in partnership with an international body of licensed medical health professionals, is offering free psychological first aid sessions. These are available at specific times on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. They will go on for as long as needed, and they are available to the entire UWI community, not just the Faculty of Social Sciences. And when I say entire, I mean for students and staff. However, the sessions for students will not be the same as that for staff and vice versa. And if there is need for one-on-one sessions, those can be arranged. If you want to quickly take a picture of the QR code, so on the left, it is that for students, and on the right, it is that for staff members. And I will close by saying that we are, let me go back because I see cameras out, so let me just, yes. So they're open, students and staff. You can tell me when to move on. Thank you. And I just want to remind everyone, as I think I've heard every speaker say so far, starting with principal, we are all in this together. And together, we are stronger. And we will make a difference if we all work together. Thank you, colleagues. Thank you, students. So, at this time, I will invite Mr. Milton Dennis, who is our estate manager, and Mrs. Jean Leslie, who is the manager of our Work Control Center in the EMD, to make their presentation on infrastructure restoration program.
Thank you, Dean Ricketts. Pleasant good afternoon to faculty, staff members, certainly our students, and the other wider members of the university community. With the presentation today, I have Ms. Jean Leslie. We will be looking through the impact of the Hurricane Melissa, on the campus, to include the Western Jamaica campus, as well as the Discovery Bay Marine Lab. As principal would have indicated, the Mona campus wasn't spared. Western Jamaica campus suffered more significant damage in terms of the extent of damage that we saw on the Western Jamaica campus. And so we will So Western Jamaica sustained significant damage based on the fact that it was sitting in Montego Bay, which the western side of Jamaica was impacted significantly. Sustained winds of 185, and you would have seen, Indira would have shared some pictures of the extent of some of the damage that was sustained. We'll provide a general update on the impact on infrastructure on the Mona campus here. We'll share some impacts on Western Jamaica campus, Discovery Bay Marine Lab, and we'll also share some of the strategies for restoration of the impacted facilities. I'll hand over to Jean. Jean, Leslie will walk us through the impact on the Mona campus. Jean?
All right, so right here you are seeing you're seeing aspects of the cogen plant. So some of you might know that we pump our own water. We have a well, and we also have a cogen plant for the electricity on the campus. So the campus operates its own water lifting, treatment, and storage facility, and this system supplies all our demand on a daily basis. So at the moment, we're not relying on the National Water Commission for that service. So thankfully, we were not impacted by disruptions due to high turbidity. We were therefore able to maintain adequate water supply to all areas of the campus throughout the passage of Melissa. We had no damage to our water supply infrastructure. The power distribution network, you're seeing a better view of the cogen plant in this image. We produce our own power, I've already shared with you, and it's able to generate and distribute power to all the facilities on the campus. During the passage of Melissa, we sustained damage to our distribution network due to downed power lines and fallen trees. Fortunately, the cogen plant remained intact. We here and there had issues with the fuel, the refueling of generators, so that threw us off a little. The electrical team, however, mobilized themselves quickly, and after the hurricane, undertook critical repairs, replaced isolation works, and 90% of the campus was back in business by the Wednesday. Within 48 hours, we were able to restore power to the entire campus. I want to, at this moment, yes, you have already thanked them, but thank the team in Estate Management Department. We all pulled together and make it happen. Some would have themselves had issues at home, but we really do believe in the university, are equally invested, and so came out to ensure it happened. So in terms of the actual damage on the Mona campus, most of what you would have seen would have been to the grounds and the landscape. We had a few issues with buildings, and for some of us who have been around for a good little time, when Gilbert came, it was the Mona campus that experienced what Western campus experienced. And we've managed to bounce back, so we'll be making it happen. So we had significant downed trees across the campus, in the halls of residence, and at College Common. The perimeter fencing in some areas got affected. Some roofs were damaged. You're seeing it right there in the halls of residence, some in College Common. A number of roads were impassable. And so we restored the critical utilities within a short time. So by the 3rd of November, we were back in business. So you would have seen some images where the Queensway, the main access to the campus, would have been blocked, among some other areas. And this is what we looked like on Monday, the 3rd. So we've made significant progress in terms of clearing the roadways, the power lines, removing trees, clearing debris, and trucking to the main dump in Kingston. And we are continuing the restoration of our lawns and gardens. The campus is again looking good and clean, and we've returned to how you are used to it being. The physical damage sustained we sustained damage right across the campus. We have roof damage, membrane and frame structure were affected. There were some windows and panels that were affected, ceiling damage, water ingress, flooding in some places, and furniture and equipment. There are instances where we had solar panels damaged in the halls of residence. So the traditional halls were affected. Taylor, Chancellor, Mary Seacole, Elsa Leo Riney, Aston Preston Hall, Rex Nettleford, Marlene Hamilton Hall. In terms of the faculties, Science and Technology, the Faculty of Law, Humanities and Education, Social Sciences, Engineering, Medical Sciences, and the Evening Hour Very Department in the Estate Management. Over College Common, there were about 5 or so houses that were significantly impacted. The roofs were damaged, and we are in the process of procurement at the moment to ensure that they are away from being wet should we have rain soon again. So unfortunately, this is what some of those damaged houses looked like. And in terms of the halls of residence, on the top, you will see the halls, the membrane falling off the roof, and below, there are additional images from the Western campus.
I will pick up here and bring you through the challenges we had on the western side of the campus. As Indeed, I would have pointed out significant damage to about 3 buildings on the Western Jamaica campus side. The maid admin building, the south block that holds the director's office and some staff offices and a classroom, the resident block, which is what we call the 600 block. And we suffered also some significant damage to the electrical and ICT infrastructure. Our preliminary estimate at Western Jamaica campus is in the region of about $108 million. I must point out the extent of damage on the Mona campus based on our preliminary estimate that Jean went through just now is in the order of about $198 million. These are some images from the Western Jamaica campus. Some of the damage that was sustained, significant damage to roofs, significant water ingress through windows. One of the buildings, the south block, was extensively damaged because of the level of wind and intensity of the storm. Over at the Discovery Bay Marine Lab, there were 2 buildings. Major roof damage, the resident student block, significant damage there, and the staff flat block. And we had some other smaller buildings, some support service structures that were also damaged. We're looking at a combined estimate of about $32 million at Discovery Bay. I just want to share some of the images here down by the Discovery Bay Marine Lab. Significant damage, a lot of work to rebuild our colleagues and students. In terms of our recovery and rebuilding plan, as I indicated, we have a combined overall grand total of roughly 338 million Jamaican dollars, which is roughly equivalent to US $2 million. I know Principal would have made mention of the fact that, we recognize that the hurricane systems are now becoming more frequent and stronger, and the Estate Management Department will be giving careful consideration to the following. The selection of roofing types, particularly in vulnerable areas. Mark you, the Western Jamaica campus, Discovery Bay Marine Lab, are locations that are on the coast. And so the design must be in a position to be able to withstand hurricane force winds. And so we have to be looking now at the design of these roofing structures. So we'll pursue those opportunities, those solutions that are more sustainable and resilient to hurricane damage. The Estate Management Department has started that process. We have started the discussions within the Building Department, looking at these options, and we have started to develop the associated costs. We are in touch with Prof. Weber at the Discovery Bay Marine Lab in terms of some of those possible solutions. Another area we need to look at is increasing the shuttering, hurricane shuttering right across the campus. I know particularly in the halls of residence that needs to be improved, and we're going to pursue those opportunities as well to ensure that we have greater resistance with our buildings through hurricane shuttering. These colleagues will be very important as we seek to rebuild and recover stronger as a campus. In terms of our urgent and immediate areas to address, right now we are focusing on student housing facilities. As Ms. Leslie would have pointed out, a number of the halls of residence would have been impacted. We had to relocate a number of our students, and so there will be a focus on trying to get those facilities back in a condition where the students are safe and we don't have water ingress. Our staff housing, 5 houses over College Common, we need to immediately respond to those. We're now doing the necessary bill of quantities, scoping of those works to ensure that we can have some movement in terms of the repairs to those areas. And of course, critical teaching and learning facilities across the campus. A lot of the areas within the faculties would have been impacted, and we're going to use the next month or two to focus on those areas to just make sure that they're good for teaching and learning, that our staff members are taken care of, and certainly our students in the halls of residence are sufficiently comfortable. In the medium term, we look at the non-critical structures, support facilities, and other service areas, and we look at those over the next 3 to 4 months. Those would be like support buildings, gazebos, those kinds of things that would have been damaged over the period. And of course, we have a long-term plan for complete rebuild. There is a particular building down at Western Jamaica, structural damage, and we have to consider considering rebuilding that building. So we're looking at doing the necessary preliminaries, and I hope to start some reconstruction within another 12 to 18 months. Colleagues, that's basically where we are in terms of the plan for the infrastructure rebuild, and I'll just hand over to the Dean Ricketts.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dennis and Mrs. Leslie. Well, colleagues and students, you see the total is, the estimate at this time is $338 million that we're looking at having to raise to be able to rebuild and to repair. I heard the figure for WJC of 108 million, and I know it's not time for questions, but I certainly wondered, given that you have to rebuild the entire South building, that might be the 108 million. So I suspect that all of these estimates are likely to go up in the coming days and weeks. So colleagues and students, we could not end this town hall without us having a presentation on mental health and wellness, the impact of Hurricane Melissa on our mental health and our wellness states hasn't been lost on any one of us here. And so to guide us through and to help us understand, how perhaps we need to even take account of it personally and how we can find support services is our own Dr. Nemi Richards, who heads our counseling unit at the health center. So Dr. Richards, I invite you to present at this time.
Thank you very much, Dean Ricketts, and good afternoon, colleagues right here and across both campuses here at the Mona, where we are, as well as the Western Jamaica campus. Special good afternoon to our students and to our staff and the wider community at this time. I'm going to start with a quote from Nona Jones that says, "You don't choose what happens to you, but you have the power to choose how you are affected by it." To our students, we know you're pushing through against all the odds, buckling a bit, stumbling somewhat, but never fully falling. We see you, we love you, we stand ready to support you. To our staff, there is a lot that you're responding to that is invisible effort, literally hard work that goes without account or merit. We see you, we thank you, we respect and honor you. To our wider community, our loved ones, our brothers and sisters across the island, we all pray, we support, we strengthen, we activate, we mobilize, we serve, we rebuild, we restore, we recover, because we will not break. Now, I come to you this afternoon from the University Counseling Service and Psychiatry, and I'm representing the team of clinicians as well as our administrative staff nestled right at the University Health Center, which is led at the moment by our acting clinical director, Dr. Monique Campbell. We are supported by Deputy Principal Dr. Tomlin Paul, as well as by other stakeholders across the campus, our campus mental health collaborators, which include the chaplaincy, as well as our personal and professional development officers embedded in the Faculty of Medical Sciences, the Faculty of Law and Engineering, our wellness officer, Dr. Debbie Ann Chambers, who is embedded at the Faculty of Science and Technology, as well as our team of SSDMs and RAs in the Office of Student Services Development, ably led by Dr. Jason McKenzie, as well as other partners in the Department of Psychiatry at the University Hospital, as well as our partners in the Faculty of Social Sciences and other faculties and facilities across the campus, as well as our international partners, which I'll mention later on. We also have Dr. Jennifer Stewart-Dixon at the Western Jamaica campus, which we know was significantly affected both personally and the team in the Western Jamaica campus. In addition to the devastation from the impact of Melissa, there is a long-standing mental health crisis in our midst, with college or university youth being particularly impacted. So as a campus, we must truly commit to prioritizing mental health as we at the Counseling Service partner with campus and international collaborators to respond to the mental health needs of our entire campus, students and staff. We note that there is a collective sense of grief, a collective sense of fatigue, and with that, a desire for a collective pause, maybe even a collective shout or cry. Dare I say a scream that says, we can only do but so much. A scream that says we need time to rebuild and recover. So we just want to acknowledge and honor that desire and need, and want you to know that we have safe spaces to reflect and process on that feeling. Ishmael? Oh, sorry. I told you I'd have a difficulty here. Yes. So for our students, you can see on the screen that we have services not only at the counseling service, where the contact and our email is there, but we have services through the Faculty of Science and Technology at the Wellness Office with Dr. Debbie Ann Chambers, as well as our personal and professional development officers in the different faculties that I've mentioned and that are listed there. Those are some of the services, including our chaplains, as you know. And on Hall, through your SSDMs and RAs, they have direct contact with us, and they support our efforts to roll out support services across the campus to the halls, as well as our commuting students through the faculties as best we can, with partnership, of course. Oops. We also want you to note that we have wellness groups titled Chillin' with Blank Canvas, and this is centering art therapy and coping skills as offerings, and the days that we offer those groups are shown there, and exactly how to access and enter the groups and where they're located in the Faculty of Medical Sciences for the most part, and some sessions at the University Health Service. So we want you to note that as well. And as was mentioned earlier, for staff, we have our Employee Assistance Program, and the information to contact, which hasn't been so easily available at times, is right here for you. Please capture this information. This allows you confidential counseling sessions, 3 per year for every staff member on this campus who is desirous of such. There are other services that can be provided, and we've been working with the EAP through the HRMD to help in tending to the needs of our staff as strongly as we tend to the needs of our students. And you, of course, heard from Dean Ricketts about the free community support groups that are available for staff and for students at the times that were earlier captured. Just want to highlight our team. Many of you would recognize them. Myself, you'll find me doing nature walks as I head to different spots on the campus, whether Department of Government or Georgia Lane Hall, Preston Hall, the different faculties. You'll also find Ms. Fuller infusing fun as she gently tends to our campus community. You'll find Mrs. Belnavis Elliott and Dr. Brown right below in wellness groups centering art therapy and coping skills. You will find Dr. Chiano with his healing drums across the campus. You will also see our able administrative teams shown there in the middle, Mrs. Yannick James and Mrs. Sharon Edwards. On the spine, chalking it out, as we say, for different commemorative days in mental health. You'd have seen us by the Faculty of Science and Technology, the Wellness Office, on the spine of the faculty, and in other spaces at Western Jamaica campus in particular, chalking it out, as we say. You will also see Dr. Debbie picking poems from poetries. You will see Dr. Jenny steadily rebuilding from the hurricane damages in Western Jamaica. Our support surrounds you, Jenny, and all impacted visibly and not so visibly at this time. Want to really take some time, just as I end, to acknowledge our partners who've so graciously and generously offered their support through Dr. Paul, OSSD, and across the faculties, as well as the Department of Psychiatry, through its head, Dr. Clayton Sewell, and Professor Wendell Abel, and others, as well as Somatic Experiencing International, which has a team of mental health supporters that have already been doing work with our team for both individual and group sessions, and are ready to provide psychological first aid free of cost to our campus community in tandem with what's already happening where that is concerned. Our partners at the University of South Florida looking keenly at how they can help us as well. They don't know any of us, they've just reached out because of Hurricane Melissa, and we give thanks for them. And our long-standing partner for the past 8 years, University of Florida, which is always with us, supporting us in every step of the way with everything we do. We thank you. So thank you for this opportunity, and thank you to the team who've represented today. I now hand back over to Dean Ricketts.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nemi. Colleagues and students, I hope that we can come away feeling a little more reassured that help is here, that there are support systems available, and that we have a counseling service well-staffed. We give thanks for when I say well-staffed, I mean in addition to the many partners that you work with and all those who have volunteered, and just as you said, the people who didn't even know us and have just reached out to offer help. We give thanks to them. We are a grateful campus. And I want to say as well, I want us to acknowledge that there are various modalities of the wellness and mental health support. So, there is art therapy, there is poetry, very creative modalities as well. So let us not only think it is sitting before someone and, almost like, you are with a quote-unquote shrink, but there are various modern modalities to receiving this help. So thank you very much again, Dr. Nemi, and I hope that we will make available ourselves to these various support services. I want to, before I take the questions and ask for our answers, I just want to give some reassurances to our graduate students who might be listening on. Graduate students, you have not been left out at all. Everything that we have said thus far that pertain to students and relate to you. And so I want you to know, as Deputy Principal has indicated, that the strategies include you and that our Board for Graduate Studies and Research, that's the BGSR that you know about, is meeting to work out some of the flexibility arrangements. And their pledge is to support you, and you will hear more as we meet and as BGSR indicates what they will permit. So the Deputy Principal will filter down those approvals and the recommendations from the BGSR, as he will do from BUS to all of us faculties. So graduate students, please be assured that you are very much included. So colleagues and students, we now have a period, a window for your questions. I can say that some of the questions I've seen thus far were answered in various presentations. So, for example, is it possible to receive the 50% waiver without the JP declaration, as the JP is currently unreachable? I think Mr. Archie answered. There are a number of other individuals who can provide those declarations. I want to say, perhaps, Mr. Archie, we could also consider senior teachers, school principals, in that mix, as I have seen for other forms, where you have like a principal of a school and so on, if that might be the closest person that they can find where they are. The question, we have yet to receive an update about graduation. We've heard the dates, the 15th to 17th of January 2026. How do persons do all of these forms? That's without internet, electricity. We've heard that the deadline is May. We go all the way up to May 8th for you to apply for these supports. A question is, why is it that exams were pushed back to the 23rd when exams will start the first week of September? It's not that they're being pushed back to the 23rd. They end on the 23rd. But they do start the first week of December. Am I? December. And I'll ask Mr. Archie to just say a little bit more here.
Yes, thank you, Dean. So what we will say quickly here is that our final exams were scheduled to begin on December 1st. We have had to begin final exams on December 5th. So we have lost 4 days. And so what we have done is extended the exam period to end on December 23rd, thereby giving us 2 days of the 4 days we have lost. This was necessary because if we did not do this, we would run the risk of sacrificing our students being successful at their final assessments in cramming exams in a shorter window of time. if we had maintained the normal schedule, it would have meant that our students would likely to have multiple clashes, having 3 exams on one day or two exams on one day. So in trying to minimize that impact on our students, it was necessary to extend the semester and the exam period for 2 days. Rather than ending on December 19th, we end on December 23rd. And we have, thank you, DP, and we have maintained the study week for our students to allow them adequate time to prepare for their final assessments.
Thank you. Mr. Archie, I had a question from my office earlier today. So this question, I wouldn't say where the student is from, but it's Caribbean. And the student wondered whether she could go back to their home country and sit. I think the final exam for that student is December 23. Could they sit it at any one of our approved centers in these other territories? Just wondered. So that was a question which came to the Faculty of Social Sciences.
Yes. Thanks again, Dean. Well, those arrangements have not been finalized. They're a bit difficult at this time of the year, but what we are saying, if a student has a particular need, if they have made travel arrangements and they are unable, we're asking first for them to engage their airline to see what changes are permissible. If that fails, then yes, they can make an application to the examination section and they will engage to see if that facility is possible based on the location that the student will be in. But that for us is really a last resort because it does get tricky at this time of the year to accommodate exams in multiple spaces.
Thank you. I think the other questions we had were also answered. What has been UWI's response so far and the long-term plan to support the national agenda in responding to the situation in Western Jamaica? I think we heard this, and the Mona Cares program is very much a part of it. It's supporting that national reconstruction and recovery agenda. Another, what are the plans for the WJC and how will students continue their studies? I think we all got the memo from the campus registrar about what will take place with the WJC. We know that there are some students who will come to Mona to finish their semester, this first semester, and arrangements have been made. I'll ask Mr. Archie just to emphasize, or Deputy Principal, to emphasize a few more of those details.
So thanks, Chair. So we do have, given the, as you saw, the constraints at Western Jamaica campus, as the EMD department showed, we have not been able to continue teaching and learning for this semester. However, we have actually selected, we're working with the nursing finalizing students, given their program and where they are with the Nursing Council, to have them complete this semester at Mona. So as we speak, we are looking at that process of facilitating the some 23 final year nursing students on the Mona campus. And the resumption of teaching and learning for WJC will continue in semester 2 of next year, with the start of a program where there would be completion of the courses that have started, and then a restructuring, so to speak, of the semester 2 teaching and learning in earnest. And we are in discussions too with the Board for Undergraduate Studies to ensure that all of that transformation, that adjustment, so to speak, is well covered in terms of the academic structure and so on. So really we're looking at continuation in semester 2 for the majority of students at Western Jamaica campus. The nursing students in the final year, we'll try and wrap up semester 1 for them here at the Mona campus. And of course, around all of that, as Dean Ricketts had talked about, the flexibility, arrangements around teaching and learning and assessments and so will be considered as we craft semester 2 and finish semester 1 for WJC. But we'll, and we'll update the students and faculty as we go forward.
Thank you very much, Deputy Principal and Deputy Campus Registrar. I'm not seeing any more questions. Oh, they are. Oh, okay. So may I just hand over then to the team from EMD?
Thank you, Madam. Yes, thank you, Prof. Mitchell. We have seen the tree and we have scheduled to have it removed, all things being equal, by the weekend. In terms of the vector control, we have been doing so daily from the 7th. So if there are specific concerns, by now we would have done the entire campus. If you have specific concerns, whether about vector control, trees, or any other facilities related matters, please send an email to maintenance@uwimona.edu.jm. So it's maintenance spelled the regular way at uwimona.edu.jm. With time, we will ensure that our website is updated with the progress we are making with the infrastructure repairs so that you will be properly updated. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Leslie. So I believe that was the last question, or those two, I think two questions, were the last questions we received. So students and colleagues, I think this brings to a close the question and answer session of the town hall meeting. I want to hand over to the principal for his concluding thoughts. And principal, as you come back on, perhaps just in case you might not have remembered, could you mention the build out of the e-commerce system to facilitate the Jamaican donations?
Right. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Moderator, for so ably managing the session. Thanks to all our presenters as well for the rich information that they have provided to our campus community. Really what it shows is that the campus is indeed standing with the members of the community during this very, very difficult time. And we want to thank all of you for the work that you're doing on this very, very important recovery effort. Indeed, as you would have heard from the EMD, we do have a $2 million bill that we're now looking at in terms of the recovery effort. It sounds like a tall order, but we are determined to get those resources to facilitate the recovery for infrastructure, especially at Discovery Bay Marine Lab and also the Western Jamaica campus. So in the very near future, you will hear a little bit more about our fundraising effort that we will be rolling out to raise that $2 million US dollars. We will be partnering with institutions like the AFWE, the UEDF, and others to roll out the campaign to raise the $2 million US that is dedicated to the recovery effort of our infrastructure. So rest assured that information will be coming very shortly. As I indicated as well, we will be having the disaster recovery and resilience task force, which will be headed by Professor Donovan Campbell, and we will also have strong technical support from the emergency management division headed by Major Clive Davis for that task force as well. You will hear a little bit more about that in the coming days, but we are hoping to launch this very soon so that we can actually start participating in a substantial way in the recovery through providing critical insights of policy and also providing critical policy briefs on areas that require our attention in the academe. So we're going to do that as well. And similarly, as you would have heard, the Dean mentioned the issue of the e-commerce build out for the Jamaican contribution. As you would have seen from the presentation made by Sandra and Malcolm, we do have the accounts now that you can make transfers to, but we hope that we will be able to build out an e-commerce platform for the Jamaican contribution. At the moment, you can do the e-commerce with the US dollar contribution through UEDF. We will now build out a local e-commerce platform where you can go in, you can plug in your credit card information, and you make your contribution through that medium as well. So we are looking forward to that being on stream very, very soon. Again, I want to really thank everybody. We have a comprehensive set of programs, and also make sure that you appreciate the agility with which these programs are being implemented. While there are some parameters, some requirements around the ability to access these things, we are very flexible in terms of looking at other areas that may not meet the requirements but do have a genuine need. As a campus, we are very flexible to accommodate those persons as well who may not fall within the strict confines of the requirement, but also have a genuine need for assistance. We want to support you in that regard. So colleagues, friends, one and all, again, thank you very much for this very informative session. Thanks to everyone for the questions. We are here to support you. We're here to stand with you as we recover from this real terrible devastation that has actually happened to our country. And I want to end by saying the UWI Mona stands with all Jamaican in all of this as we recover stronger and better from Hurricane Melissa. Thank you very much.